that with each passing hour, the Franken campaign is irreparably harmed in its efforts to ensure that each valid vote is properly counted. Okay, that's not my words. That's not a press release from Andy here. That is the words of an opinion issued by the Ramsey County Court.
Welcome back. This is Noah Cuden with The Uptake. This is the first day of the Minnesota Senate Recount. As the recount begins, Al Franken has won a major court battle to get access to the names of voters whose ballots were initially rejected by election officials.
I am happy to report that the court saw things our way and entered an order granting our request for the records that we had sought, because it is a validation by a court of the central premise of our effort, which is to ensure that each valid vote is properly counted. And that the reason why we sought this data was to enable us to ensure that that happened and to help us prepare for the procedures that will decide this election, most notably the recount. We have said from the beginning that our effort to seek this data was an effort this was not a lawsuit over votes. This was not a lawsuit to put votes in or take votes out of the count. Rather, it was a lawsuit to get access to data. But here's the thing, guys. A court has now, you don't have to take my words for it. You don't have to take the Coleman campaign's word for it. A judge has now decided that we are entitled to this data. And there's nothing that the Coleman campaign can spin that to be, and there's nothing, frankly, that I can add to that beyond that the court itself has ordered this data to be produced. And it is important that in the course of doing so, and I hate to repeat myself, but I'm going to, since we're here, that with each passing hour, the Franken campaign is irreparably harmed in its efforts to ensure that each valid vote is properly counted. Okay, that's not my words. That's not a press release from Andy here. That is the words of an opinion issued by the Ramsey County Court.
Okay, so how do you go about getting this from the other counties?
The other counties will be made aware of this order.
Mm-hmm. You contact them, or
we will likely ensure one way or another that they are aware of the order, and we will ask them to comply with it. We're going to wait to get the data before we discuss what we may or may not do with it.
Fritz Canuck said you're going to go and knock on doors. Assuming you get
me personally?
Well, the campaign will actually go and knock on doors.
What I can tell you is this: up until now, we have been contacted by a number of people who are quite concerned. And in fact, there was a story, and I don't want to sell short which one of you wrote it, but there was a story I read this morning to suggest that voters were in fact reaching out to the media who were concerned, or there were media reports about voters who were concerned that their ballots might not have been counted, and we hear the same thing at our end. I can tell you this: the voters who we have spoken to, whether we have contacted them or they've contacted us, are concerned that their votes haven't been counted, and none of them have expressed concern. I will make a promise to you, though. I will not knock on Mr. Canuck's door in order to avoid frightening him.